The cargo ship Stellar Dawn floated alone in the blackness of space. No lights blinked on its hull. No engines pushed it forward. It was dead in space, drifting like a piece of trash. Inside the ship, Captain Lisa Kane sat in her command chair. Her uniform was wrinkled. Dark circles showed under her eyes. She hadn't slept in 3 days. "How's the oxygen?" she asked. Jake Thompson looked up from his panel. He was the ship's engineer. His face was pale. 16 hours, he said. Maybe less. Rachel Kim sat at her station. She was the first officer. She tried to stay calm for the crew. "We sent our last signal 4 days ago," she said. "Maybe someone will hear it." Lisa shook her head. "We're too far out. The signal is too weak." The ship had 12 people on board. They were all scared. They all knew what would happen. In 16 hours, they would run out of air. Then they would die. Dr. Marcus Wright walked onto the bridge. He was the medical officer. His hands shook a little. "I've prepared the medications," he said. "When the time comes, no one will feel pain." Lisa nodded. It was a kind thing to do. "Thank you, Marcus." Paul Bennett sat at the navigation station. He was looking at the empty space around them. Stars dotted the darkness. But there were no ships, no help coming. "The dead star's gravity is pulling us in," he said. "We have maybe 2 days before we get crushed." The dead star was why they were stuck. Its invisible force grabbed their ship when they came too close. Now they couldn't escape. The engines were broken. The power core was dead. Amy Foster, the youngest crew member, sat quietly in the corner. She was only 19. This was her first space job. Now it would be her last. "I miss Earth," she said softly. Everyone felt that way. Earth was so far away now. Their families were so far away. They would never see home again. Dr. Wright started recording a message on his tablet. "Dear Sarah, if you ever get this..." His voice cracked. He loved his wife very much. Other crew members also started recording. Final words for their loved ones. Goodbye messages that might never be heard. "Contact!" someone shouted. Everyone jumped. Jake looked at his screen. "Something's scanning us." Small lights appeared outside the windows. 3 metal objects moved around the ship. They looked like giant spiders with long legs and cameras for eyes. "Alien drones," Rachel whispered. "Scavengers." The drones moved closer. They attached to the ship's hull. Small drills started cutting into the metal. "They'll tear the ship apart," Paul said. "Looking for things to take." Lisa gripped her chair. "How long before they breach the hull?" 20 minutes, Jake said. "Maybe 30. The drills grew louder. Metal creaked and groaned. The drones were taking the ship apart piece by piece. "So this is how it ends," Lisa said. "Not slowly in our sleep, but torn apart by machines." Dr. Wright stopped recording his message. There was no point now. They would die much sooner than he thought. The crew gathered on the bridge. They held hands. If they were going to die, they would die together. "I'm sorry I brought you all out here," Lisa said. "This was my mission." "No," Rachel said. "We all made this choice. We're spacers. This is the risk we take." The ship shook. The drones were breaking through. In the distance, through the window, they could see the dead star. It was black against the black of space. Only the bent light around it showed where it was. Suddenly, space split open. A crack of light appeared. It was bright blue, like lightning. It tore across the darkness near the ship. Everyone stared. They had never seen anything like it. "What is that?" Amy asked. The crack grew bigger. A huge ship pushed through. It was twice the size of their cargo ship. Triple, maybe. It was covered in weapons. Strange metal plates covered its hull like armor. "Human design," Paul said, squinting. "I've never seen that model." The new ship turned toward them. More lights appeared on its hull. Spotlights searched for them in the dark. "Someone found us," Jake whispered. A voice came through their broken communication system. It was full of static, but they could understand the words. "This is the United Earth Starship Freedom. We read your distress call. Prepare for rescue." Rachel started to cry. They came. They actually came. The Freedom moved closer. It was beautiful and deadly at the same time. Sharp angles made it look like a weapon itself. The engines glowed with power. "How did they find us?" Dr. Wright asked. "Who cares?" Lisa said. "They're here." The alien drones detected the new ship. They stopped drilling. They turned their cameras toward the Freedom. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then the Freedom's weapons fired. Bright pulses of light shot from its sides. The drones exploded into tiny pieces. They never had a chance. "Docking tube extending," the voice said. "We'll have you aboard in 10 minutes. 10 minutes, Lisa repeated. 4 days of waiting, 4 days of fear, and now rescue in just 10 minutes. Through the window, they watched a long tube stretch from the Freedom to their ship. It moved like a snake, finding the right place to connect. The crew checked their emergency suits. They would need protection during the transfer. Space was not kind to the human body. "Captain," the voice said again. "This is Captain James Morgan of the Freedom. We're glad to have found you." "Thank you, Captain Morgan," Lisa replied. "You've saved our lives." "That's what humans do," Morgan said. "We look after our own." The docking tube locked onto their ship. They heard the metal seals connect. In moments, there was a gentle hiss of air flowing in from the Freedom. "Airlock secure," Morgan said. "You can board now." The crew moved quickly but carefully. They lined up at the airlock. Lisa went last. A captain leaves her ship last, even a dead one. As they stepped through the tube, Lisa looked back at Stellar Dawn one more time. The cargo ship had been her home for 3 years. Now she was leaving it behind in this lonely place. "Goodbye, old friend," she whispered. They walked through the tube and into their rescue. Into the USS Freedom. Into a future they thought they'd lost forever. The first thing Lisa Kane noticed was the air. It was fresh and clean. After 4 days of stale, recycled air, it felt like heaven. The crew stepped off the docking tube onto the Freedom's deck. They were in a large airlock. White lights made everything bright. Crew members in black uniforms waited to help them. "Welcome aboard the Freedom," said a tall man with gray hair. He wore 4 gold stars on his collar. "I'm Captain James Morgan." Lisa shook his hand. "Captain Lisa Kane of the Stellar Dawn. We owe you our lives." "Just doing our duty," Morgan said. "Let my people take care of you." A woman in a medical uniform stepped forward. "I'm Dr. Kelly Davis. Let's get you all to the medical bay for checkups." The rescue team guided the survivors through wide corridors. The Freedom was huge inside. Everything looked new and advanced. Holographic displays showed ship data on the walls. The floors weren't cold metal like on the Stellar Dawn. They had some kind of soft covering that helped tired feet. In the medical bay, Dr. Davis ran scans on each survivor. "You're all healthy," she said, "but you need rest and better food. Your ship's rations were low." After the checkups, Captain Morgan led them to a meeting room. Large windows showed space outside. Stars moved slowly past as the ship flew through the galaxy. "I'll be honest," Morgan said. "Finding you was luck. We weren't supposed to be here." "Where were you going?" Lisa asked. Morgan's face grew serious. "We were hunting raiders, enemy ships. We're at war." The Stellar Dawn crew looked at each other. They hadn't heard about any war. They had been on their cargo run for months with no news from Earth. "War?" Jake Thompson asked. "Who's fighting?" "Humanity against the Covenant Empire," Morgan said. "They've been attacking our colonies, taking our planets." Rachel Kim leaned forward. "How long has this been going on?" 8 months now, said another crew member. She wore tactical gear. Her name tag read, Ryan Mitchell, Tactical Officer. The Covenant thought humans would be easy targets. They were wrong. Morgan stood up and walked to the window. "Our ship, the Freedom, is part of the new defense fleet. Earth built these warships in secret. The enemy didn't know we had them." "What's that glow on your engines?" Amy Foster asked. "I've never seen anything like it." A young woman with dark hair smiled. That was Jessica Brooks, the navigator. "That's quantum drive technology. Makes us faster than anything else in space. Paul Bennett, the Stellar Dawn's navigator, was amazed. How fast? Fast enough to make a dimensional jump, Brooks said. That's how we got here. We jumped through space itself. The survivors tried to understand. Technology had advanced more than they knew. Earth had built ships like nothing they had ever seen. The Freedom has armor that regenerates, Morgan explained. Weapons that can punch through enemy shields. Even our AI is something special. As if on cue, a calm voice spoke from everywhere and nowhere. Welcome aboard, survivors of the Stellar Dawn. I am Atlas, the ship's artificial intelligence. The survivors jumped slightly. The AI's voice was so clear and natural. The AI runs combat systems, navigation, and repairs, Morgan said. Makes the crew more effective. They talked for over an hour. Morgan explained the war. The Covenant Empire had 7 different alien species working together. They saw humans as weak newcomers to space. They were wrong. Human ships are smaller, Morgan said, but faster, smarter. We hit hard and move quick. They can't catch us. How many ships do we have? Rachel asked. Classified, Ryan Mitchell said firmly. But enough to protect our people. Morgan nodded. The Freedom alone has taken down 5 enemy vessels. Other ships in our fleet have done even better. The bridge door opened. Chief Petty Officer Brandon Fletcher walked in. He was covered in grease and dirt. Captain, we need to fix the port. Shield. Took some hits from those drones. How long? Morgan asked. 2 hours if I skip sleep, Brandon said. Take 4, Morgan ordered. And get rest after. We need you sharp. Brandon saluted and left. Lisa noticed how the crew worked. Professional, disciplined. These weren't cargo runners. These were warriors. What happens to us now? Dr. Wright asked. Morgan thought for a moment. We're not scheduled to return to base for weeks. You're welcome to stay aboard. The Freedom suddenly slowed down. Everyone felt the change. Captain, a voice came over the ship's speakers. We have a distress signal. Morgan grabbed a comm unit. Report. Human colony ship, sir. New Texas is under attack. Covenant raiders. Morgan cursed quietly. How many? 4 enemy ships, sir. The colony has no defense. Morgan looked at his guests. I'm sorry. We have to go help. Of course, Lisa said. Do what you need to do. Morgan started giving orders. Crew members ran to their stations. The Freedom turned toward the signal. Atlas, plot a course for New Texas, Morgan commanded. Course set, Captain. Estimated arrival in 90 minutes, the AI responded. Red alert. All crew to battle stations. Warning lights flashed red. The ship transformed. Weapon systems powered up. Shield generators hummed with energy. You should go to the guest quarters, Morgan said to the survivors. Safety protocols. Wait, Lisa said. You saved us. Let us help however we can. Morgan shook his head. You're tired. You need rest. Captain, Jake spoke up. I know engines. Let me help your engineer. I'm a doctor, Marcus Wright added. If there are wounded, Morgan looked at his tactical officer. Ryan Mitchell nodded. We could use extra hands, sir. All right, Morgan decided. But follow orders exactly. No hesitation. Jake went with Brandon to the engine room. Dr. Wright joined Dr. Davis in the medical bay. Amy Foster was assigned to help with ammunition loading. The others went to safe areas of the ship. As the Freedom accelerated toward battle, Lisa watched. From a viewing area. Through the window she saw space blur. The ship moved faster than anything she had ever seen. Never seen quantum drive, huh? Asked a woman next to her. She wore a pilot's uniform. I'm Lauren Phillips, helm officer. How does it work? Lisa asked. Lauren smiled. We push reality a little bit, make space shorter. Don't ask me the physics. I just know how to fly it. The ship shook slightly as it accelerated more. Lisa had flown cargo ships for 15 years. She thought she knew space. Now she realized how little she knew. Arriving at New Texas in 3 minutes, Atlas announced. The red lights shifted to blue. The crew was ready for battle. Lisa saw determination on every face. 4 enemy ships, Ryan Mitchell reported to Morgan. Covenant Class 7 destroyers. And we're just one, Morgan said. But we're human. The Freedom dropped out of quantum drive. Through the windows, Lisa saw a planet. It was green and blue. Beautiful. Around it, 4 alien ships fired weapons. Explosions lit up the dark side of the planet. Target the closest ship, Morgan ordered. Full weapons. The Freedom's guns blazed. Bright energy beams struck an enemy ship. Its shields flared and died. A second volley tore through its hull. The battle began, and Lisa Kane realized that humanity had changed. They were no longer the weak newcomers in space. They were fighters. The Freedom shook as enemy weapons hit its shields. Red warnings flashed on every screen. "Shields down to 60%, called out Tyler Rogers from the weapon station. "Return fire," Captain Morgan ordered. "Target their power cores." Lisa Kane watched from the viewing area. She had never seen combat before. The energy beams were beautiful and terrifying. The enemy ships were large and dangerous. But the Freedom was fast. "Second enemy ship damaged," Ryan Mitchell reported. "They're trying to retreat." "Don't let them," Morgan said. "Helm, stay on them." Lauren Phillips gripped the controls. "Aye, sir," matching their course. Down in engineering, Jake Thompson worked, next to Brandon Fletcher. The engine room hummed with power. Displays showed energy flowing through the ship. "Your systems are incredible," Jake said. "This output is impossible." "Not impossible," Brandon replied. "Just never been done before. Hold this wrench steady." The ship lurched. More enemy fire hit them. "Shields at 40%, Rogers shouted. Captain Morgan hit his comm. "Fletcher, I need more power to shields." "Working on it, sir." Brandon and Jake adjusted power flow. The shields strengthened immediately. In the medical bay, Dr. Wright helped Dr. Davis prepare for casualties. They laid out medical tools and bandages. "No wounded yet," Dr. Davis said. "Captain Morgan avoids taking hits. He's a good leader," Dr. Wright agreed. A third explosion rocked the ship. This one was different. It came from the enemy. "Direct hit on target 2. Mitchell cheered. "Enemy ship is breaking apart." Through the windows, Lisa saw an alien ship, split in half, debris scattered through space, but 3 enemy ships still attacked. "The colony is reaching out," said Jessica Brooks at navigation. "They need help evacuating." Morgan nodded. "Mitchell, can we take 2 ships at once?" "Not easily, sir. We're outnumbered." Suddenly, Atlas spoke. "Captain, I detect a solution, risky but possible." "Explain," Morgan ordered. "A micro jump," the AI said. "We could use quantum drive to jump a short distance, surprise the enemy." The bridge went quiet. Jessica Brooks looked worried. "Sir, micro jumps are forbidden. Too dangerous." "How dangerous?" Morgan asked. "We could misjudge distance," Brooks explained. "Jump too close to the planet, or into the enemy ships, or into space debris." Morgan thought quickly. The colony needed help. They were losing the fight. "Give me odds, Atlas." 62% chance of success, the AI calculated. 38% chance of destruction. Morgan looked at his crew. They all seemed scared but ready. "Brooks, plot a jump behind the enemy formation." "Yes, sir." "Fletcher, can the engines handle it?" "Down below," Brandon answered. "They can." "Take it, sir, just don't make it a habit." Morgan turned to Lisa. "You might want to grab something, this is going to be rough." Lisa held onto a railing. Her heart raced. She had just been rescued. Now she might die in an alien battle. "Jump coordinates locked," Brooks announced. "All stations ready for jump," Rogers confirmed. "Execute," Morgan ordered. Space twisted around the Freedom. Reality bent like glass. For a moment, Lisa saw double. Everything was in the wrong place. Then suddenly they were somewhere else. The Freedom appeared behind 2 enemy ships. The aliens were surprised. Their backs were exposed. For a moment, both sides were still. "Fire. Everything," Morgan shouted. The Freedom's weapons unleashed fury. Energy beams and missiles hit both enemy ships. Their shields were down. They had no defense from behind. One ship exploded immediately. The other tried to turn but was too slow. More weapons. Fire destroyed its engines. It began to drift powerlessly. Last enemy ship is turning, Mitchell warned. The final alien ship had seen everything. It charged toward the Freedom directly. They're going for a ramming course, Jessica Brooks said. Helm. Evasive action, Morgan ordered. Lauren Phillips pushed the ship into a roll. The enemy ship missed by meters. Its weapons fired wildly. Shields at 20%. Tyler Rogers called. Too close, Morgan muttered. Brooks, another jump. Get us space. Jessica started plotting. Need 30 seconds, sir. The enemy ship turned for another pass. Its weapons glowed with power. Shields won't hold, Rogers warned. In engineering, Jake saw their power levels dropping. He had an idea. A crazy cargo hauler trick. Brandon, he shouted. Can we overload the engines? What? Just for a second. Create interference. Block their targeting. Brandon understood. It'll burn out systems. Better than dying. They redirected power to the engines. The Freedom's drive cores hummed dangerously. 15 seconds, Brooks counted down. The enemy fired. Weapons headed straight for the Freedom. Now, Jake shouted. The engines surged with massive power. Energy waves spread from the ship. The enemy weapons hit the waves and scattered. Some missed completely, others lost power. Jump ready, Brooks announced. Jump, Morgan commanded. The Freedom vanished. It reappeared thousands of kilometers away. Safe. The enemy ship searched for them but found nothing. Status report, Morgan ordered. Engines overheated, Brandon reported. Need 10 minutes to cool down. Shields recovering, Rogers said. We're secure. The bridge crew cheered. They had done the impossible. 1 ship against 4. 4 enemy ships destroyed or disabled. Excellent work, everyone, Morgan announced. Especially our guests. Down in engineering, Brandon patted Jake on the shoulder. Nice thinking, cargo man. Thanks, Jake replied. Nice ship you have here. They laughed tiredly. The battle was over. Colony is secure, Jessica Brooks reported. They're thanking us. Morgan smiled. Good. Set course for space dock. We need repairs. As the Freedom turned away from the battle site, Lisa watched the planet below. Lights dotted its surface. Cities, farms, people living their lives. The Freedom had saved them all. Captain, she said to Morgan, thank you for saving us and for this. Saving colonies is our job, Morgan replied, but having you with us made a difference. Your engineer's trick saved us. Lisa looked at her crewmates. They had helped too. Dr. Wright assisted with post-battle medical checks. Amy Foster had carried ammunition during the fight. Rachel Kim had monitored ship systems. Paul Bennett had calculated jump distances for Jessica. We're spacers, Lisa said. We help where we can. Morgan nodded. I think you'll fit in well here. War or no war. The Freedom moved away from New Texas. Stars were bright outside the windows. The vast emptiness of space stretched in all directions. But the ship didn't feel empty. It felt full of purpose. Atlas spoke softly. Captain, repairs will take 6 hours. Shall I calculate a course to the next patrol point? Not yet, Morgan replied. Let the crew rest. We've earned it. Down in the crew quarters, the survivors shared food with Freedom's crew. Stories were exchanged. New friendships formed. You actually faced down death itself, Ryan Mitchell said. To Lisa. 4 days with no hope. We had hope, Lisa said. Just not much. How did you stay calm? Asked Lauren Phillips. We didn't, Rachel Kim answered honestly. We were scared. But fear doesn't help in space. You do what needs doing. The warriors and the cargo haulers found they had much in common. Space tested everyone equally. It took courage to face the void, whether with weapons or cargo containers. Late, into the night, Captain Morgan made an announcement. Tomorrow we reach a supply station. We'll be there a week for repairs. After that, we patrol the frontier again. Lisa listened from her new quarters. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Space held many dangers, but now she had a warship around. Her, and a crew that fought for each other. Outside her window, stars twinkled peacefully. The galaxy seemed calmer now, or maybe she had just learned not to be afraid. The repair station orbited a small moon. It looked like a giant ring in space. Ships docked on the outer edge. Crews worked in the center. The Freedom pulled into dock slowly. "Look at all these ships," Lisa Kane whispered. Through the viewport, she saw dozens of warships. Each one looked different. All were human-made. "Our fleet," Eric Walsh said. He was Freedom's second in command. Earth built over 200 warships in secret. Took us 5 years. The survivors walked down the ramp onto the station. It felt good to be on solid ground, even fake gravity. Station workers welcomed them. "Let's show you around," Sarah Mitchell said. She was the medical chief now. Dr. Davis stayed on the ship for repairs. The station had everything: shops, restaurants, training centers. It was like a small city floating in space. "We have 6 stations like this," Sarah explained. Each one, supporting the fleet, building new ships, training crews. In the mess hall, they ate real food, not rations, actual steaks and vegetables. The survivors hadn't tasted anything this good in months. "How did Earth keep this secret?" Paul Bennett asked. He couldn't understand how humanity built such a military force without anyone knowing. "We had help," answered Amanda Clark, the cyber warfare specialist. She sat with them. Some governments knew, the smart ones. They contributed resources, workers, technology. "And the ones who didn't help?" Rachel Kim asked. "They'll wish they had," Amanda said simply. After lunch, they toured the training center. Crews practiced battle scenarios in simulators. New recruits learned to use advanced weapons. The facility buzzed with activity. "Think of it like boxing," Eric Walsh explained. "The Covenant Empire is like a heavyweight boxer. Big, strong, slow. We're welterweight, smaller, faster, better trained." They watched new pilots learn to fly fighter craft. The small ships darted between obstacles, twisted and turned with impossible speed. "Those are Viper-class fighters," Amanda pointed out. "They protect our battleships. 30 pilots can disable a Covenant destroyer." Lisa counted the simulators. 20 of them. 50 pilots training at once. "How many fighters do we have?" "Classified," Eric said with a smile. "But enough." Next, they visited the weapons lab. Scientists worked on new designs: energy shields, homing missiles, electromagnetic cannons. "Every week something new," Nathan Green said. He was the chief petty officer from Freedom. "We improve. They don't." Dr. Wright watched them test a healing device. It used lasers to close wounds. This technology could help everyone, not just soldiers. "After the war," Sarah Mitchell agreed. "Right now, we need weapons more than bandages." They continued the tour. The industrial section amazed them most. Machines built ship parts automatically. Robots welded metal. Conveyor belts moved components. "Look at that." Jake Thompson pointed to massive engines being assembled. "Twice the size of anything I've seen." "For the next generation ships," Lauren Phillips said. Her father worked as chief engineer here. "Bigger, faster, ready for whatever comes after this war." In the afternoon, they visited the communications center. Operators monitored signals across human space. Giant screens showed ship positions, colony statuses, enemy movement. "This is where we track everything," explained Communications Officer Martin Wells. "Every human ship reports here. Every colony, every outpost." Lisa saw home. Earth's symbol glowed on the main screen. Safe. Protected. "How is Earth doing?" "Untouched," Martin said proudly. "The enemy hasn't come close. They don't know where to find us. By the time they figure out Earth's location, we'll be stronger." That evening, Captain Morgan gathered everyone in the officers' mess. He stood with a glass in his hand. "To the Stellar Dawn's crew," he declared, "you faced death and won. Not with weapons, but with courage. That's what makes us human. Everyone raised their glasses. The Freedom's warriors and the cargo haulers, united by space and survival. I have a proposition, Morgan continued. Your ship is gone. Your cargo contract is void. But we need good people. The war won't end soon. Lisa understood immediately. Morgan was offering them positions on the Freedom. Think about it, Morgan said. We return to patrol in 6 days. You can join us, or we'll arrange transport home. Whatever you choose. That night, Lisa walked the station promenade. Stars shone through the transparent dome above. She found Jake looking out at the ships. Beautiful, he said. Warships shouldn't be beautiful. But they are, Lisa agreed. What will you do? I'll stay, Jake decided. Brandon says I have talent. The engines here are amazing. I want to learn. Other crew members made their choices, too. Dr. Wright would join the medical team. Amy Foster wanted to train as a pilot. Paul Bennett would work with navigation systems. I'm staying too, Rachel Kim told Lisa. Eric Walsh needs a good second. Says I have leadership skills. Lisa smiled. Her crew was growing, changing, adapting. That was the human way. The next morning, they visited the training academy. New recruits marched in formation. Instructors shouted orders. It reminded Lisa of old Earth military videos. 6 weeks basic training, instructor Tom Bradley explained. Then specialty training. We need everyone. Engineers, doctors, pilots, gunners, cooks, even cargo haulers? Lisa asked. Especially cargo haulers, Tom replied. You understand space, long missions, working with limited resources. That's valuable. Lisa realized her old skills weren't worthless, they were needed. Different context, same abilities. In the afternoon, they attended a strategy briefing. Holographic displays showed the war situation. Red zones marked enemy territory. Blue zones were human space. The frontier was mixed. The Covenant advances slowly, explained Strategic Commander Helen Roberts. They take planets, strip resources, move on, traditional conquest. What's our strategy? Lisa asked. Asymmetric warfare, Helen answered. We hit their supply lines, rescue colonies, avoid direct fleet battles, make them bleed slowly. The holograms shifted, showed successful human operations, destroyed enemy supply depots, rescued colonists, captured alien technology. We also learn from them, Helen added. Every captured ship teaches us something. Their shields, their weapons, their weaknesses. Lisa felt pride growing. Humanity faced extinction threat. But they fought smart, not just strong. Every battle taught lessons. Every loss motivated improvement. Later, at the station's observation deck, Morgan found Lisa watching ship repairs. Robotic arms fixed Freedom's hull. Replaced damaged armor. Upgraded weapons. Your decision? Morgan asked. I'll stay, Lisa said. All of us will. This is bigger than cargo runs. This is about survival. Morgan nodded. Good. I'm short one executive officer. Rachel's moving to Walsh's team. The job's yours if you want it. Lisa's breath caught. Executive officer on a warship? Her? I've never been military, she protested. Neither were any of us, Morgan replied. Until we had to be. You led your crew through impossible situations. Kept them alive, kept them calm, that's command. Lisa looked at the bright stars. Once they represented trade routes, cargo deliveries, simple work. Now they were battlefields, war zones, humanity's frontier. I accept, she said firmly. That night, the crew celebrated. Tomorrow they would put on uniforms, take oaths, become warriors. But tonight they remained who they were. Survivors, space travelers, friends. To new beginnings, Amy Foster raised her glass. She'd grown confident in just days. Space had that effect. To humanity, Dr. Wright added, may we win this war quickly. To the freedom, Paul Bennett concluded, and all ships like her. They drank, told stories, shared memories of Earth, of space, of the moment they thought their journey ended, and the moment it truly began. Outside the station, stars gleamed peacefully. The galaxy didn't care about human wars, about human dreams, about human losses or victories. But humans cared. They always had. They always would. The next morning would bring duties, training, preparation for war. But this night belonged to them, survivors who became soldiers, civilians who chose to fight. Space had taken much from them, but space had also given a purpose, a mission greater than themselves. The war waited. The enemy waited. But they were ready. Together. United. Human. 6 days later, the Freedom was ready. New armor plating covered battle damage. Weapon systems were upgraded. The ship looked deadlier than before. Lisa Kane stood on the bridge wearing her new uniform. Black with blue trim. Executive officer badges on her shoulder. It felt strange. Heavy with responsibility. All stations report ready, Rachel Kim said. She was now Freedom's communications officer. Engineering at full power, Jake Thompson reported from his new station. He'd earned his place in engineering. Captain, Morgan sat in his command chair. Helm, prepare for departure. Aye, sir. Lauren Phillips gripped the controls. Course set for Patrol Route 7. The Freedom undocked smoothly. Space surrounded them again, but this time they sailed into it as warriors, not survivors. 3 hours into their journey, Atlas interrupted the quiet bridge. Captain, emergency. Transmission detected, colony beacon. New Texas. Lisa felt ice in her stomach. They'd just saved that colony. What's happening? Full message coming through now, Atlas replied. The speakers crackled with static. This is Governor Patricia Hayes of New Texas Colony. We're under attack again. Covenant fleet approaching, 6 ships this time. Please help. Anyone. We have 3,000 civilians. Children. Please. The bridge fell silent. 6 enemy ships. The Freedom had barely handled 4. Captain, Ryan Mitchell, said softly. We're 2 days away at best. Other Earth ships are 4 days out. The colony won't last 6 hours against 6 ships, Tyler Rogers added. Morgan stood up, walked to the window. Stars filled the darkness. Somewhere among them, people were dying. Atlas, calculate time to New Texas using maximum speed. 47 hours at current engine capacity, the AI responded. How about quantum drive? Full power. Engines cannot sustain full quantum drive that long. Risk of shutdown is 98%. Morgan hit his comm. Fletcher, this is the Captain. Theoretical question. Could we push quantum drive beyond normal limits? Brandon Fletcher answered immediately. Theoretically, yes. We'd need extensive modifications, and we might blow up. How long for modifications? 6 hours, maybe 7. Morgan turned to his crew. New Texas needs us, but we can't reach them in time. Unless we try something crazy, Lisa said. She was learning to think like a warrior now. Propose, Morgan ordered. We modify the engines like Fletcher mentioned. Try to break our speed limit. It's risky, maybe suicidal, but they're dead for sure if we don't try. Morgan looked at his crew. Vote. Those willing to risk everything for New Texas? Every hand went up, no hesitation, not even from the former cargo haulers. All right. Fletcher, begin modifications, all crew, battle stations. We're racing death itself. The next 6 hours were intense. Jake worked with Brandon in engineering. They modified quantum drive systems, pushed safety limits. Red warnings flashed constantly. This is insane, Jessica Brooks said, watching power readouts. The strain on the ship. Insane is letting children die, Jake replied. Now hand me that plasma wrench. On the bridge, Lisa coordinated damage control teams. If engines failed, they needed backup plans. Sarah Mitchell prepared medical for possible crew injuries. Amy Foster, now weapons assistant, checked ammunition. Supplies. Engines ready, Brandon announced after 7 tense hours. But Captain, these modifications will damage the ship. Maybe destroy it. Noted, Morgan said. Helm! Engage quantum drive! Full power! The Freedom lurched forward. Space blurred around them. Stars stretched into lines. The ship shook violently. Speed increasing, Lauren reported. Beyond safe levels. And climbing. Structural integrity. At 70%, Paul Bennett called out. Must stabilize. The framework can't take much more. 60% now. Keep pushing, Morgan ordered. Warning alarms screamed. Red lights flashed everywhere. The ship groaned like a living thing. In pain. 36 hours to New Texas, Atlas calculated. Engines holding barely. Time became meaningless. Crew rotated shifts. Coffee became medicine. Sleep was stolen in snatches. The Freedom pushed deeper into quantum space. 20 hours remaining, Atlas announced after an endless day. Engine temperature critical. Jake ran diagnostics constantly. They were flying on borrowed time. Every minute could be their last. Captain, Dr. Wright reported. Half the crew has stress fractures from the vibration. We need to slow down. Not yet, Morgan said firmly. People are dying. The bridge crew remained focused. Lisa learned command by doing it. Made hard decisions. Rationed energy. Prioritized. Repairs. Every choice could save or kill them. Finally, Atlas spoke the words they needed. Approaching New Texas system. Drop to normal space in 5 minutes. Status report, Morgan ordered. Engines at 30% efficiency, Brandon answered. Weapons ready. Shields at half strength. 6 enemy ships confirmed, Ryan Mitchell said, checking sensors. They're bombarding the planet's surface. Drop to normal space, Morgan commanded. Reality snapped back into place. The Freedom shook. One last time, then steadied. Ahead, New Texas appeared with 6 alien ships circling like predators. Captain, Tyler Rogers said. 6 against 1. Same as New Texas odds. Maybe. Morgan smiled coldly. But we're not the same ship that left. All weapons fire at will. Atlas, target their command ships first. The Freedom's guns blazed. Not with fear this time, with fury. They'd risked everything for this moment. The first alien ship exploded before it could react. The Freedom had appeared from nowhere. Pure surprise. Second target locked, Rogers called. More weapons fire. Another enemy ship damaged. But now they responded. Alien beams struck Freedom's shields. Shields down to 20%, Paul warned. Return fire. All weapons. Morgan shouted. The modified engines had damaged the ship, but the crew's spirit was unbroken. Lisa watched them fight. Her crew mixed with Freedom's warriors. All equal now, all essential. Third enemy ship destroyed, Mitchell reported. The battle raged. 3 alien ships remained. They grouped together, protected each other. They're learning, Lauren observed. Let them learn too late, Morgan replied. Target the leader. The Freedom charged. Weapon arrays unleashed fury. In the final analysis, human determination proved stronger than alien numbers. 10 minutes later, the last enemy ship exploded. Debris rained toward New Texas's atmosphere. The colony was saved again. Governor Hayes, Morgan hailed the planet. This is USS Freedom. You're secure. Static crackled. Then a woman's shaky voice answered. Freedom, you came back. Thank God. Thank you. Always, Morgan replied. Earth protects its own. As the Freedom turned away from the saved colony, Lisa stood beside Morgan at the bridge window. Their ship was battered. Engines barely functional, but they'd won. That's 4 times now the Covenant has attacked New Texas, Morgan said. They'll be back with better defenses. Lisa nodded. Just like they'll attack other colonies, other planets. This war has years to go. Then we'll fight for years, Lisa said simply. It's who we are now. Morgan looked at his crew. Former cargo haulers working alongside trained warriors. All exhausted, all victorious, all deadly. The Freedom limped toward home, toward repairs, toward the next battle. Behind them, New Texas celebrated life. Ahead lay countless stars, countless battles, countless victories and losses. But humanity had found its strength, not in size or numbers, in the simple truth that humans protected their own, against any odds, against any enemy. Captain James Morgan sat back in his command chair. Executive Officer Lisa Kane stood beside him. Together they watched the stars. Not with fear anymore, with anticipation. The war would continue. The Covenant would attack again. But humanity was no longer prey. They were predators now. Space predators. With fast ships and fierce hearts. Set course for home, Morgan ordered. We've got repairs to make and wars to win. The USS Freedom jumped into quantum space, carrying its mixed crew toward tomorrow's battles, ready for whatever came next. Because that's what humans do. They survive. They adapt. They fight.